What's up, everybody? So as we round out 2017, I thought it'd be really fun to go back and look at the progress of the GTI over the last year. The beginning of the year started out with us having the engine out of the car and disassembling the bottom end. The head had already been sent out to get its work done. It was time to disassemble the bottom, get new bearings, get the pistons ready to be sent out to be coated. While we were waiting for the bottom end to be sent to the machine shop and the pistons and the bearings and all that stuff to be taken care of, dropped the front suspension out of the car, pulled everything out, the steering rack, all the suspension components, brakes and everything else stayed in the car, and we pulled that out in order to replace everything and of course to rehab the subframe and the control arms. There was a huge gap in work from February to about May. That's because that was about the time where I left the dealership and I had a crazy travel schedule. In May, we painted the engine block, and by the way, that's holding up really well. I'm really happy with how that coating came out. June was kind of a light month too, basically revolved around just putting the pistons together. Not a whole lot of things happened. In July, a lot did happen. We painted the engine compartment, which already looks dirty by the way, and don't worry, it's not the last time that engine's gonna be out, and the bay's going to be painted. From there, it was really game time putting together the bottom end of the engine. I took it out to NTI to get some help from a professional engine builder who did a really great job giving me some pointers on putting it together. Early August, we had the engine together. We also then installed it in the car. This was a huge victory, crack a beer and celebrate moment to actually have that engine built, assembled, and into the vehicle instead of having this gaping hole where an engine should be. We did backtrack a little bit on the videos, went back and talked cams, talked ARP head studs installed. I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss that stuff for you guys. As we rounded out August, we primed the engine and mocked up the turbo. I gotta say, mocking up the turbo was a lot of fun. To actually see that turbocharger attached to the engine was super cool. It looked cool in the bay, it looked cool on the stand, and it was super motivating to give me that energy to keep going with the project. When we hit the end of August, it was rewrapping the engine harness, which is something that I'm super OCD about. I did a great video on it. I hope you guys watched it, how to rewrap any harness and make it look brand new. September, delays, details, a lot of parts delays, a lot of things that didn't fit right that were ordered or built to fit properly. So there was a lot of delays in September, and taking care of a million little details. Things like charge cooler piping, oil line routing, all that kind of stuff. The little things that you really don't think of when you think, I'm gonna turbocharge this GTI. I'm gonna pull the engine, rebuild it, put it back in, turbocharge it, and we're gonna go. These are all the little tiny things that if you don't do and you don't do right, really can lead to catastrophic failure of components. Backtracked a little bit, did the clutch video. Really pleased with the BFI clutch kit, despite the fact there was a lot of question about maybe the flywheel being too light. Very pleased with it. The car drives great, which I'll get to why I'm laughing in just a minute. The clutch performs really well. I do think before too long it will need an upgrade. BFI even said that Stage 2 was kind of borderline for what I was trying to achieve, that Stage 3 would have been a better clutch, but I had my heart set on the Stage 2 clutch, so that's the route that I went. In October, actually October 1, finally got the fans figured out, wired them up. I'm really pleased with the fan setup. It's functioning perfectly. Never even came close to having an overheat issue or a temperature issue with the engine, which is something that VRs are kind of known for. October 4th was the magic day. The video of the first fire came out. I think I had 4 cameras, really cool setup, and it didn't start the first time, or the second time, or the third time, or fourth time, but we figured it out. We ran into some G28 engine RPM sensor issues, got it figured out, and it was actually a really easy thing to fix. Fired it up, sounded awful, like it normally would, drove it around the neighborhood. Not too long after that, ran into the very first semi-major issue, and that was the heater core exploding. Took it for a quick spin on my way to BFI Oktoberfest, parked it back in the driveway to get a couple things and leave, and the heater core blew. Luckily I wasn't hurt, not too much damage, just annoying quick bypass from Home Depot Motorsports, and it was good to go. Drove it up to BFI, and it made it there and it made it back. Somewhere in the mix of that, did coilovers from NGP. Love the coilovers, got the ride height almost perfect, as you probably will see in the corner balancing video coming soon. And really happy that it came out almost perfect with that 50-50 balance when we put it on the scales. Followed that up with a parking brake video. The parking brake cables were completely destroyed, as you probably saw. November also brought us deciding what brakes we're gonna go with. Willwood up front, black in color, which looks super cool, and I'm really excited to get those put on the car. For the rears, I'll be simply doing the Mark IV calipers. It's a really common upgrade, lightens up the back end, and they are gonna be new, refreshed, they bolt right on, super easy. It'll also get rotors. I'll show you guys how to do the wheel bearings on those, because those are the old school style where you gotta pack the wheel bearings when you do brake rotors. Now, when we were talking about the clutch, I was kind of giggling, and here's why. As it sits right now in the shop, out in the garage, the GTI is down with a bad master cylinder. I went to start it the other day, pushed it out of the garage, fired right up, of course. When I went to put it in gear, nothing happened. It just grinded like the clutch wasn't disengaging. So after some diagnosis and some inspections, found that, yes, something in the sealing of the master cylinder is failing. It's allowing air into the clutch circuit. Tried to bleed the slave cylinder, and it just will not bleed. So got a new master cylinder on the way. That'll probably be one of the early DIY videos of 2018, showing you guys how to replace that and how I went about diagnosing it. I think that's really the important thing. So while it feels like that took forever from the beginning of the year, disassembling the bottom end of the engine, to the end of the year, fixing problems and diagnosing this clutch master cylinder, seems like forever, but it takes time for this kind of things. And I appreciate you guys hanging with me on the project. It's been so much fun for me. Hopefully it's been fun for you, educational for you. I know I've learned a ton of stuff, and I hope that I've been able to share that with you guys. In addition to all the GTI stuff, I'm actually gonna be moving a little bit to the Passat and getting some things done on it before the TIG1 goes back. Things like valve cover cam adjuster gaskets, engine mounts, timing belt, SERP belt, any other issues I find, probably rear brakes. I'm guessing it's about due for that as well. So we'll be doing some really cool stuff with the Passat, which is going to be fun in a way and annoying because it's just things that I have to fix on it. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up there. 2017 has been amazing for the White Wookie. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you have videos you'd like to see on the Wookie, drop it down in the comments. Let me know. Questions as well. You know where they go. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. You can also watch the playlist of all the videos on the GTI just by clicking the playlist button for the GTI, oddly enough. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Happy New Year, happy 2018, and I will see you next time.